So yesterday I talked about Ubisoft getting directly confronted, or even more specifically, the CEO of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot, getting directly confronted during a shareholder meeting, which was pretty funny to witness. And in the second part of that video, I mentioned and briefly discussed this news, where Ubisoft said that microtransactions make the player experience more fun. Yes, what players need in single-player games are more battle passes and more microtransactions. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. I just want to lead in with that because, again, I'm still laughing at Ubisoft for saying such a thing. But here's the main topic for this video. Ubisoft CEO responds to the Stop Killing Games petition, stating the publisher is working on improving its approach to end-of-life support, but that nothing is eternal. Now look, I'm not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to game development and coding and all that. I really don't know too much about that topic, but I really like how Stop Killing Games is making these AAA companies like terrified. That's of course a great thing. And let's see how Ubisoft is responding, shall we? Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has addressed the Stop Killing Games consumer rights campaign, stating that end-of-life support for old online games, a far-reaching issue that the publisher is working on, but that nothing is eternal when it comes to video game services. Guillemot was asked about Stop Killing Games, which advocates for increased regulations to prevent game developers and publishers from shutting down games after official support for them ends. At Ubisoft's annual shareholders meeting, the question was posed in the context of Ubisoft's online racer, The Crew, the shutdown of which became the catalyst for the Stop Killing Games initiative. As noted by GameFile, Guillemot was asked whether he supported the petition, whether players own a Ubisoft game when they purchase it, and how Ubisoft plans to ensure its games remain playable after support is discontinued. This has to be a loaded question. Like, oh yeah, hey Ubisoft, do we own your games when we buy them? Asking the company that like overtly said people need to get comfortable not owning their games, or something of the sort. Yeah, they probably didn't like that question. Guillemot initially responded by defending the amount of support Ubisoft provides for its games at present. Got a quote here. Regarding the petition, we operate in a market, and whenever we release a game, we provide a lot of support for that game. We also provide a lot of services to make sure that the game is accessible and remains playable 24/7. This is such a politician answer, like completely trying to deflect. Guillemot also stated that players and buyers are forewarned when a Ubisoft game is going to be shut down, and that The Crew specifically, Ubisoft offered its successor, The Crew 2, on sale for €1. That is euro, not pound, right? Hopefully I'm not messing that up once again. For a fortnight prior to the original game's shuttering. For just €1. Oh, okay, good. For just €1, they got to buy the next version. €1. It's not a lot of money to be able to continue playing a game. This guy. I'm not sure Guillemot's conflation of The Crew 2 as both a sequel and a continuation of the original game service is justified here. Yeah, since they are two separate games. Yeah, it's just like deflection. It is possible for a game to be both, as demonstrated by Valve when it overwrote Counter-Strike Global Offensive with Counter-Strike 2. But that was a direct replacement, handed out for free, while you can still play CSGO by reverting to an older build and playing on community servers. Moreover, if the point of Ubisoft's sale was indeed to allow players of The Crew 1 to jump ship, or indeed car, then this doesn't appear to have been made clear by Ubisoft at the time. Anyways, Guillemot then points out that all video game publishers are faced with the issue of changing or ending services. You provide a service, but nothing is written in stone, and at some point the service may be discontinued. Nothing is eternal, and we are doing our best to make sure that things go well for all players and buyers. Oh yeah, right. Oh my gosh, that's so rich coming from this dude and from Ubisoft. We got to read that one more time, just that one sentence. We are doing our best to make sure that things go well for all players. Yeah, and buyers. Because obviously support for all games cannot last forever. It's worth noting here, Stop Killing Games does not demand increasing support for games by publishers. In its website FAQ, Stop Killing Games states it is in favor of publishers ending support for a game whenever they choose. What we are asking for is that they implement an end-of-life plan to modify or patch the game so that it can run on customer systems with no further support from the company being necessary. In fairness to Ubisoft, it is claimed such safeguards will be put in place for The Crew 2, which Guillemot likewise pointed out in his response. We also announced that the game would be available offline in the future so that players could continue to play it. So this is an issue that we've been dealing with. Well, we'll see what happens, won't we? Guillemot concludes by reiterating the point about services having a shelf life. The lifespan of a piece of software, whether there's a service component, eventually services may be discontinued because eventually the software may become obsolete over time. A lot of tools become obsolete 10 or 15 years down the line. They're no longer available. And that is why we release a new version. And so we have version 2 and then version 3, but clearly this is a far-reaching issue and we are working on it. As for Stop Killing Games, earlier this month it cleared the threshold of 1 million signatures to become an EU citizens initiative, meaning it passes the bar to be deliberated by the European Commission. However, there are questions regarding the validity of some of those signatures, with Stop Killing Games organizer Ross Scott concerned that the figure has been inflated by signature spoofing campaigns. Scrolling down to the comment section, let's take a look at some public sentiment. As you can see, these comments are coming in real time. The top one there from only 47 minutes ago. And it says, nothing is eternal, and yet Nintendo has been around in some form since the 1800s. Imagine if they started taking their preservation seriously ages ago. Another one saying from 57 minutes ago, okay, no one's looking for eternal anyway. Literally all people want is the ability, even self-hosted, to keep playing the game that they paid for. That's it. It can come in any way, shape, or form the distributor wants. It just simply can't be gone forever entirely. We bought it, we keep it, or enjoy it. They don't even have to keep the servers on. Just allow players to keep their own servers up. And we got some more here coming in from the last hour. They'll say anything to avoid being legally required to do the right thing. Sounds about right. Deliberately misrepresent the campaign and try and fool people into believing the debate is about something it isn't. It's modern day debate 101. Yeah, like I was saying, dude was sounding like a politician. Classic polyspeak. Scrolling down to this comment at the bottom there from 2 hours ago, and we can see someone else pointing such out, saying, straw man argument. No one is asking for eternal support. They're asking you not to brick a product after you've done marketing it. Over on Reddit, a top comment responding to this article posted on the subreddit r/gaming reads, this is the same guy that tried to introduce NFTs for numbered helmets into AAA games. Wait, what? Tried to introduce NFTs for numbered helmets? Oh, if someone has the context for that, please let me know. I know Ubisoft has made some NFT games, and one of them even apparently recently came to Steam in like the last month or so. Seemingly after it flopped in the Ubisoft store, they brought it to Steam, and now I think it has, like, I'm not even joking, guys, I think there's maybe 5 people playing it right now. I'll show you what I'm talking about, actually, really quick. Yeah, so it's this thing, Champions Tactics Reforged. I was a little off about the release date. Seems like it's been on Steam since May 19th. But yeah, to my recollection, they originally released this not on Steam. It was like Ubisoft store exclusive or something, and then they brought it to Steam in, I guess, on May 19th. I wasn't that far off about the player count, though. You can see as of recording, at like this second that I'm recording this, there is 13 people in game. And so I think they've also tried to shift this from an NFT game. Now it's just like a gacha game. But yeah, it's Champions Tactics Reforged. Look at this chart, man. What the frick is going on here? So it released and had like 150 players. And then it was like down to 20. And then it popped up to 1,400 out of nowhere for a day. And then it's been around like 30 ever since. Another pop to 289. On July 12th, and yeah, it's been like sub 20 ever since. And you know what? I almost feel bad for Ubisoft because this kind of feels like bullying. Like, bro, 13 players. But then it's like, we're talking about Ubisoft here. There's no way it isn't the right thing to do to be mocking this corporation. And so back on Reddit, we left off here. The comment, once again at the top reading, this is the same guy that tried to introduce NFTs for numbered helmets into AAA games. And when literally no one purchased it, he said, consumers just don't understand the value proposition we're offering them. Oh my gosh, dude, what a freaking joke. No, people understood the value proposition perfectly, and the proposition is terrible. It's freaking terrible. A response saying the most NFT bros his son Charlie, just appointed CEO of their new subsidiary, partially owned by Tencent. Oh yeah, that's a great idea, Ubisoft, because your NFT games have already been such a hit. Let's double down on that. Oh yeah, be my guest. Please go ahead. Let's see how that goes for y'all. As for Tencent, though, I mean, they're already one of the largest shareholders of Ubisoft, having almost 10% of the company's outstanding shares for Ubisoft Entertainment. And you can see at the top there, Gimo family itself having almost 14% in comparison. So Tencent not that far off. And you can see the next major shareholders all have around half the position that Tencent does, and of course all decreasing from there. Anyways, funny stuff, and believe it or not, I might be doing another Ubisoft video tomorrow because there's something else hilarious, but I don't want to bury the lead at the end of this one, so yeah, probably a separate video on that tomorrow. As for this weekend, though, that's where I will leave it. Hope you've had a great weekend. Hope we all have a great week ahead. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed my coverage. Appreciate ya. Look forward to seeing you in the comments here and in the next one.